Magandang araw, Malacanang Press Corps. Bayan, patuloy ang pagtatrabaho ng gobyerno. Nililinis po ang ating kapaligiran. Huwag niyo naman pong laging dumihan. Ngayong araw ay makakasama natin sina DSWD Secretary Rex Gatchalian, Undersecretary Eduardo Punay, SWS Vice President Gerardo Sandoval, SWS Research Fellow Dr. Ruelano Briones at Globe Telecom Chief Sustainability and Corporate Communications Officer Maria Yolanda Crisanto upang magbigay ng ulat tungkol sa serbisyong hatid ng walang gutom program ng pamahalaan sa ating mga kababayan. Magandang araw po sa inyo lahat.
Magandang araw, Yusek Claire. Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. Nandito kami kasi tungkol sa Walang Gutom Food Stamp Program. We do this briefing to update our citizens kung ano na nangyari sa programa, ano naging resulta. Just as a recap or the top line data, kaya namin na ngayon sabihin na 600,000 na pamilyang Pilipino ang kumakain na ng tama. Mamaya, kasama ng mga fellows natin mula sa SWS, iisa-isahin nila ang detalye kung paano namin nasabi ito. Ayon to sa data ayon to sa isang field survey na isinagawa ng SWS that was commissioned by Globe. Nandito ang mga kaibigan natin sa Globe led by Yoli because tulad ng lagi namin sinasabi, ang pangit naman na kami ang nagmo-monitor at nagpapasurvey sa sarili naming programa. Globe, because they have a thrust in ending hunger katulad ng pamalaan, ang naging partisipasyon nila ay to commission SWS and their fellows to do regular impact assessment through field work, through surveys. No? Next slide. Just to give everybody a brief refresher, kung matatandaan nyo, yung programang Walang Gutom Food Stamp is an automated food stamp program. Binigyan ng electronic benefit cards ang ating mga benepisyaryo na bumibilang na sa 600,000. Yung mga electronic benefit cards, pumupunta sila sa mga kadiwa, sa mga market days organized in their basketball courts, or sa mga accredited retailers kung saan pwede nilang gugulin ang 3,000 na food credits kada buwan, food credits, para makapili among the food groups. 50% goes to carbohydrates, 30% goes to protein, 20% goes to dietary fiber. So yan yung tinatawag natin na Go, Grow, and Glow Foods. Ayon nito doon sa Pinggan Pinoy ng FNRI. Pero this is a conditional program, so sa tuwing nagre-redeem sila, na uma-attend sila ng tinatawag namin na kalusugan, kakayanan at kabuhayan sessions wherein may food nutrition development sessions, tinuturuan sila kung paano kumain ng mura, masustansya at masarap na pagkain. Partner namin dito ang TESDA at ang DOLE para sa mga upskilling nila para makahanap sila ng trabaho bilang kondisyon. Now, nung first phase, nung 2024, nung una kami nagpunta dito, we were looking at 23 LGUs kung saan tayo nag-ooperate, 300,000 household. Noong 2025, nag-expand tayo to 51 local government provinces, local government units, na ang total na natin ay 600,000 beneficiaries. This year, the remaining 150,000 to form the entire 750,000 food poor families. Kasi matatandaan natin, ang target nito food poor families. Ayon sa PSA, may 750,000 tayo na rated na food poor families ay maipapasok na natin. Yung last 150,000, ang kanilang target beneficiaries, priority natin, mga pregnant and lactating women. Ayon sa direktiba ng Pangulo na siguraduhin na labanan natin ang stunting. Now, itong mga local government units na to or itong mga provinces or provinces na ito ay yung mga lugar na tinala na may mataas na incidence ng hunger, food insecurity at food poverty. Ang naging strategy ng DSWD ay work on these provinces, itaas natin ang kanilang antas pagdating sa mga indicators na to para kapag nagpatakbo yung SWS ng kanilang regular survey on hunger, food insecurity, and food poverty, when we raise the national averages will go up kung yung mga nasa laylayan ng mga probinsya matulungan natin. Ito kasi yung mga probinsya na mataas ang incidence, kaya sila yung humihila sa national scores natin. So if we work on these provinces, maiangat natin ang estado ng kanilang kagutuman, food insecurity, and food poverty, hopefully, mag-reflect rin siya dun sa national averages natin. Last point, bago ko ipasa yung mikropono sa ating mga SWS fellows to explain the findings, the methodology and all that, gusto kong ulit-ulitin na ang survey na to is commissioned by Globe. Hindi ho ang hindi ho DSWD ang nag-commission. Ang kinuha nilang nag-field survey will be SWS dahil SWS yung nagpapatakbo ng regular na quarterly na survey on such topics. The questionnaire that we used, that Globe commissioned them to use, is the same questionnaire na ginagamit doon sa regular run nila quarterly. So ngayon siguro, yung next slides, ipapasa ko na sa mga SWS fellow natin kay Jay Sandoval to explain the dates and all that detail ng survey na to.
Maraming salamat po. Magandang umaga. Jay Sandoval from SWS. Ang SWS po, nung nagsagawa ng survey at ang target natin dito, yung mga pamilya dun sa mga mahihirap na probinsya sa Pilipinas. Sila yung food poor families. Ngayon, nagkaroon tayo ng 2,400 household respondents nung unang survey. Yung unang survey, yung tinatawag naming Wave 1, isinagawa nung February 24 hanggang March 8, 2026. Nagkaroon tayo ng 2,400 respondents. In-interview namin sila batay sa kanilang experience sa kagutuman, food insecurity, at saka food poverty. Tapos, after a few months, binalikan din namin sila noong June 22 to July 1, 2026. Mahalagang ibahagi sa inyo na yung unang set of respondents na na-interview namin noong February-March, sila rin yung parehong respondents na binilikan namin nitong June-July na survey. So, kumbaga, ito yung tinatawag na panel survey. At tinanong namin sila tungkol sa iba-ibang mga bagay. Una na dito yung kanilang karanasan sa involuntary hunger. At yung question na ito ay tulad ng mga ibang survey ng SWS, yung mga national surveys namin, na kung saan tinatanong namin yung respondents na nitong nakaraan 3 buwan, nangyari po ba kahit minsan na ang inyong pamilya ay nakaranas ng gutom at wala kayong makain? Tapos pag sumagot sila ng oo, ang follow-up question ay ito po ba ay nangyari ng minsan lamang, mga ilang beses, madalas o palagi? So iyon ang single question na ginagamit ng SWS upang masukat ang involuntary hunger. Ngayon, dun sa parehong survey, nagtanong din kami ng mga indicators tungkol sa food insecurity. Yung food insecurity naman, tinatanong namin yung mga respondents namin kung noong nakaraang 30 araw, nakaranas yung pamilya nila nung iba-ibang items. Halimbawa, nag-worry sa kanilang pagkain, hindi makakain ng masustansyang pagkain, kumakain ng kaunti lamang, kumakain ng smaller quantity or smaller variation ng food among others. Tapos yung pangatlong indicator na sinukat ng SWS ay tungkol sa kanilang food poverty. Ito ay katulad ng self-rated poverty na sinusukat ng SWS na kung saan nagpapakita kami ng card sa aming mga respondents na may nakasulat na poor and not poor at a line in between, at tinatanong namin yung respondents, saan nyo ituturing yung pamilya ninyo sa card na ito, kung sila ba ay mahirap, hindi mahirap, pero may ibang respondents din na pumipili dun sa linya. Pero ngayon, sa survey na ito, tinatanong namin na gamit ang parehong card, saan nyo po ilalagay ang inyong pamilya batay sa pagkain na inyong kinakain, kung sila ba ay mahirap, hindi mahirap, at kung nasa linya. Ngayon po, dun sa resulta, ipapasa ko na po ang mikropono kay Dr. Roel.
Maraming salamat, Secretary Rex and Jay. So, unahin natin yung hunger indicator, no? When we did the survey nung first round, tinaya doon na about 1/3, no? 33.6% ang hungry, may nag-experience ng hunger according to the SWS definition. In 3 months, by the second round, na sukat namin that prevalence went down to just 26.9%. That is a significant drop of 6.7 percentage points. Doon naman sa food security, medyo mataas yung baseline natin noong wave 1, ano? 94% can be considered as food insecure. Pero in 3 months na ipababa to just 89.3%. And finally, dun sa food poverty, medyo mas konti yung pagbaba nito pero significant pa rin. Started with 79%. So hindi pa nagsisimula yung program, round 1, 79% na. After one round of the program, 77.6% ang binaba. Ngayon, maaari yung itanong na, paano naman how does that compare sa status quo? Baka naman kasi households improve on their own, di ba? Kasi every quarter, the economy grows. So, nag-collect din ang SWS ng survey ng mga non-beneficiary. And we ensured that the two groups are comparable to each other, except yung isang grupo may walang gutom program, yung isa as is, no, walang programa. So, doon naman sa hunger indicator, mas mataas yung baseline nila, 38.3%. Tapos, after 3 months, nag-improve pero bahagya lang. 1.4% lang yung nag-improve. So, lamang yung improvement ng mga walang gutom beneficiaries by 5.3 percentage points, no? So, we can point this as evidence na may difference talaga na na-introduce yung programa sa rate at which you can reduce the hunger of households. Tapos pag tumungo naman tayo sa food security, actually baliktad, no? Bagamat bumaba yung food insecurity ng mga beneficiaries, tumaas ng munti, 0.6%. So hindi mo lang naiwasan yan, pero nai-reverse mo at naibaba mo yan thanks to the Walang Gutom program. And finally, sa food poverty, ganun din yung kwento, from 84.4%, mas mataas nung baseline, nag-worsen pa, no, to 85.7%. So 1.4 percentage point increase. So not only was that avoided, that was reversed by 1.4% because of the Walang Gutom program. Thank you.
So now we'll probably give Yoli the floor to explain bakit sila interesado dito.
Thank you, Secretary Rex, and maraming salamat din po, Yusek Claire, and all of our partners here from SWS. First of all, the role of Globe here is really to be able to enable our third party, which is SWS, to make sure that what we are doing here in partnership with the DSWD actually works. This is the importance of data and transparency, no? Kaya po tayo sa atin kami po ang napiling partner ng ating DSWD para ipakita natin sa inyo na yung ating ginagawa with DSWD actually works for us. So, I'm really very very happy that we are here to share with you. Alam ko na ang pinag-uusapan natin dito is hunger, but the results that the department has done is actually very good kasi nakikita niyo po yung reduction ng incidence of hunger at yung impact na ginagawa nila do sa Walang Gutom program. Ang Globe po kasi, meron din po kaming programa and we call it Hapag Movement, which is also ang objective namin is really to address involuntary hunger. That's why we partnered with the SWD. But gusto ko lang pong balikan yung na-mention ni Secretary Rex, no? He mentioned something about child stunting. And to some degree, yung ginagawa po ng Walang Gutom ngayon is actually trying to address paunti-unti yung ating incidence of child stunting. Maring hindi po tayo very much aware kung gaano na po yung pervasiveness and prevalence nitong child stunting, but statistics, actually, it's 1 in 4 children, 25% na po. So what we want to do is we want to be able to help address child stunting. And what we're trying to do is, inakausap po natin si Secretary at ang kanyang mga USEC na nandito, if we can partner with other private sector companies in order to help us, parang all of us, trying to approach this together, because you don't want to have a generation of children of Filipinos that's stunted. No? 1 in 4, that is the statistic. And yan na po ang susunod na ifo-focus natin with Globe's Hapag Movement, na ang gusto po nating magawa really is to help address child stunting in the Philippines. So again, we're very pleased with the results and maraming salamat po sa DSWD for choosing Globe to be the partner. And thank you also to the SWS team because they were able to come up with a study at maganda po yung kanilang methodology at ipinakita po sa inyo yung naging resulta.
So in closing, nagagalak kami to report and that we will also keep on updating the public dahil meron pang third round and fourth round nitong fieldwork ng SWS within the year. Kasi nga tinatrack natin eh. Ang instruction ng ating Pangulo, maganda yung programa pero hindi pwede yung hindi natin sinusukat yung epekto ng programa or else that will be wasteful spending. So what we're trying to show now everybody is that yung programa is data-driven, targeted, food poor families, pati yung lokasyon, nag-ooperate lang kami kung saan mataas ang prevalence so that the overall strategy is iangat natin yung data ng mga nasalaylayan ng mga syudad, mga probinsya. Then hopefully the next time around pag nag-SWS survey ulit, yung regular nila na national, makita natin yung improvement. Once again, we pull up the localities na mataas ang hunger. Hopefully the national averages also improve. Kasi, di ba, every time lumalabas yung numero na yun, tinatanong kami lagi, ano ang ating ginagawa? Ito ang ating ginagawa. Alright, thank you. Questions?
Marami po salamat. Unang katanungan, Hardy Balbuena, IBC 13.
Usec Rex. Hi, sir. Hi, sir. Sir, we started with the food stamp program way back 2024, but our inflation rate has significantly risen since then. So are we also considering on increasing the amount allotted for the food stamp? Yung 3,000 pesos po.
Very good question. Meron kami mga ongoing studies na we will make public shortly that's being done naman together with ADB that shows na merong threshold yung amount na pwede naming ibigay para maging effective. Just to give you a broad idea, we'll publish it soon rin naman, na meron doon kaming tinakbong pilot wherein we gave 3,000, 5,000, 8,000. Pero lumalabas sa dulo, yung epekto niya kung 3, 5, or 8 is pretty much the same as 3. Kasi nga, merong such a thing, may phenomenon na yung kahit dagdag ka ng dagdag ng binibigay, napupunta lang yung nadi-displace na pera ng pamilya, napupunta sa iba, hindi sa pagkain. So, part nung study na yon is, the recommendation is a stronger behavioral change. Kasi ibig sabihin, may ibang prioridad pa rin yung, natural, may ibang prioridad yung mga pamilya at hindi pa rin pagkain, hindi balansyado, masustansyang pagkain. We'll make that study public. But second, we do understand though na itong nakalipas na energy emergency or kasalukuyang energy emergency, nakaka-apekto rin. That's why kung matatandaan nyo, doon sa sa group 1 ng uplift assistance, may top-up amount na 2,000 ang bawat walang gutom beneficiary. So cash yun na inaabot on top of the 3,000 na food credits. Patapos na tayo doon, by August 14, they should be have been given their 2,000 pesos.
So tama po, Sec, possibly yung titingnan nating amount 5,000 or 8,000.
No, ang sinasabi ko nga, doon sa study na ipapublish namin, patapos na yung ADB, they'll show it to us, walang effect in terms of direct impact sa nutritional status ng pamilya. These indicators. Kasi nga, napupunta yung nadi-displace na amount na pera nila sa iba nilang pangangailangan, hindi sa pagkain necessarily. So baka kahit itaas namin ng itaas, nakakatulong sa pamilya pero hindi sa larangan ng pagkain, kundi sa larangan ng ibang bagay na importante rin sa kanila. Halimbawa, rental, school supplies, transpo, pero hindi kasi yun yung programa eh. The program is an anti-hunger program. By us adding more money pero hindi namin matranslate to direct results in reducing hunger, pagbaba ng food insecurity at pagbaba ng food poverty, mako-question nyo kami. Di ba? It would have been another type of dole out na napupunta sa ibang bagay. But this is a social development program aimed at lowering hunger.
Sunod po na tanong, Rafi Ayeng, Daily Tribune.
Hi, Sec. Good afternoon po. Can we identify the provinces or regions na sinasabi niyong tatargetin for the Walang Gutom program na may mataas na hunger incidence?
It's published in slide. We'll give it to you. Yun yung kanina na flash namin. The slide number 2. Nandun nakalista yung 23 nung initial at yung 51 na total. Nandun, it's quite lengthy pagbabasahin ko kasi 51 siya na LGU. We'll just give it to you. The provinces.
Thank you, Sec. And to Ms. Yoli, on addressing stunting po, are you seeing a timeline to further improve the numbers na sinasabi niyo 1 out of 4 ang yun nga mga bata na lumalala ang stunting?
You're talking about a timeline?
Yes po. Kung paano kung kailan hanggang kailan siya may improve?
I wish I could share with you, and kung ako tatanungin mo, I want it tomorrow done. 'Di ba? Di ba?
Tuloy-tuloy po ba yung programa?
So, okay. Ang kailangan natin dito is we need help. And that's why we're talking about it now. Because hindi natin kayang gawin tong mag-isa. Globe cannot do it alone. I think the DSWD cannot also do this alone. So we need more partners to help us. But what I can say is the commitment is there. And Hapag movement is still there. So ito po ay Hapag movement, ang donation na nakukuha natin dito is coming from the Globe customers themselves through the rewards program. And that is what we're trying to convert. Yung rewards na binibigay sa atin is we're converting that to cash. And yun po ang ginagamit natin to donate. No? So thank you also to all of our customers who are out there that are also participating in this advocacy. Pero in terms of timeline, I'm sorry I cannot give it to you. However, what we're trying to do is we're already trying to spearhead this para magkaroon po tayo ng snowball effect.
Sunod po na tanong, Eileen Taliping, Abante.
Miss Crisanto, ma'am. Ma'am, may idea kayo, may record ba kayo kung ilang porsyento sa populasyon ng Pilipinas ang sinasabi na nakakaranas ng stunting? Kasi sabi nyo nga, isa sa bawat 4 na Pilipino ang
Sa ngayon po, pinag-aaralan natin through the DSWD also. Marami pong kawani kasi ng gobyerno. There's also DOH, and we need to also work with the LGUs for us to be able to give you an absolute figure. But ang nakikita po namin is trend line. Trending lang po siya for now, no? Until we get to the scientific data already. And for us to be able to address this, meron pong tinatawag na locally, we're looking at 1,000 for the first 1,000 days. So, hindi lang po yung sa bata. Nag-uumpisa po yan do sa day 1, which means sa pagbubuntis po nung ina. Sa maternity health. Doon po nanggagaling. Then afterwards, pag nanganak na siya, tingnan natin kung okay yung health ng bata. But in other countries globally, ang tinitignan po nila pagdating sa child stunting is the first 2,000 days. Okay, so we need to still continue with the studies and understanding ano po ba talaga yung nangyayari on the ground. So today, wala pa po tayong ganong klaseng scientific basis, no? So we need to work with several other government agencies to do that.
thank you, ma'am.
Sunod po na tanong, Kat Domingo, ABS-CBN.
Sir, just to clarify, ano po yung metrics or standards by which or by when po yung beneficiaries will graduate from the program?
I remember meron tayong tinatakbo na FIES ng PSA, the Family Income and Expenditure Survey. That becomes the basis of it, together with the other databases that they run like CBMS and like the Food Insecurity Survey. Ang average time that they stay in the program will be 36 months kasi those surveys run every 3 years. So they'll go back to the household, we'll see kung nag-improve na yung income stream nila, nakakaranas pa ba sila ng kagutuman. Even before that, if hindi na, then they can exit out of the program.
Ilan na po yung nag-exit from
Wala pa kasi, wala pa tayong 3 years, wala pa 36 months.
Alright. Pero sir, yung 36 months, is it a fixed period or by the end of the 36th month na hindi pa rin sila stable yung income, could that be extended?
Well, maximum, may mga attrition, no? Meron talaga yung nag-opt out na kasi okay na sila, biglang gumanda yung buhay. Pero on an average 36 months, by design, that is the exit. But of course, we're working, remember this is an overseas development ODA, this is an ODA with the ADB, French Development Agency, and OPEC. So there are ongoing talks about additional financing, but we have to first show them the effectivity of the program. Now, these field work, these impact assessments being done, marami this is just one of many, will provide us the data so that when additional financing will be discussed to extend the lifeline of the program so that hindi lahat ini-exit natin, ready kami patunayan na hindi siya wasteful spending. We're laying the groundwork for a solid impact, data-driven decision-making tool kung i-extend natin or what not. Kasi remember, this is the country's first anti-hunger program. Hindi tulad ng 4Ps na tumatakbo na siya na matagal. Ito, bago-bago pa lang siya. It's a flagship program as identified by an EO, and it's the President's signature program. Binanggit niya nung kampanya niya, last year's birthday niya, yan din ang sinabi niya, gusto niya ma-end ang kagutuman. So it's always in the horizon to expand and extend.
Sir, ilan po yung nag-opt out?
Konti lang yon. Attrition tawag na namin doon. Minsan umalis, nag-abroad, lumipat ng bahay, gumanda yung buhay. That's very, very minimal.
Sir, what are the safety nets that are in place to make sure that this program will be continued even after the change of administration in 2028? If not continued, at least hindi siya totally
Scrap.
displaced, or from the priorities of the next administration.
I have 4 things. Number 1, there's an EO that designated as a flagship program. Of course, you'll say an EO can also be negated. There are ongoing talks already in the Senate and in the House. May mga parallel versions ng bills to institutionalize it. Also, it has a built-in line item in the general appropriations. I remember, year 1 pa lang ng Pangulo, sinabi niya gusto niyang priority itong anti-hunger. Kaya may sariling line item, si Walang Gutom and its counterpart refuel side. Last, Kat, speaking from experience, a good program, people will look for it. If you suddenly end it, tapos biglang yung mga beneficiaries bumalik sa kagutuman, then I would assume that whoever will take the reins of government would want to continue it. The same way we continued 4Ps and strengthened it.
Sunod po na katanungan, Alvin Baltazar, Radyo Pilipinas. Suyo po ng mic.
Secretary, good morning po.
Marami kami, ba't ako lang tinatanong niyo?
Either Secretary or...
No, I'm just joking.
USEC or Secretary. Maganda yung Walang Gutom kitchen program ng DSWD. Pero gaano karami yung plano natin idagdag pagdating ng 2028? Kasi parang kakaunti lang eh.
That's a very good question. I'll clarify ko lang, the Walang Gutom brand kasi transcends 2 programs. The Walang Gutom food stamp, yung household base, and the Walang Gutom kitchen, which is the soup kitchen na everybody's welcome to come, diba? Ngayon may 3 tayo, nasa Pasay, yung former Pogo facility, nasa Cebu sa Pier area, and then nasa may market area ng Zamboanga City. The President's instruction and directive sa amin is dapat 12 yan. We're about to open 1 more, hopefully by his birthday, sa Caraga region, and then another 2. So within the year, the remaining part of the year, ang goal namin 6, and then another 6 by early part of next year. It's a soup kitchen. It's supplementary to this program kasi facilities-based na if you're experiencing hunger, come to the kitchen. We'll make sure na walang food na natatapon, doon namin sinaserve.
Secretary, wala ba tayong planong ibaba doon sa mga area na kung saan mataas yung hunger incidence?
Yun ang mga target areas. That's why you'll find our kitchens located in areas where you find seasonal workers. Katulad sa Cebu, na sa Pier area siya kasi pag makausap mo doon yung mga kumakain doon, sometimes may patrabaho ng pakyaw, sometimes walang patrabaho. So kung walang patrabaho, then they'll start looking for, they become food insecure, they become hungry, and they become food poor. So kung titignan yung lokasyon, both sa Zamboanga and sa Cebu, natatagpuan sila kung nasaan yung mga tao na maaring makaranas ng ganitong kagutuman. To the same degree, yung locality, doon din namin pinipili. That's why Caragay na banggit namin, meron kaming tinitignan doon na area or an LGU that has a high prevalence of these indicators.
One last lang, Secretary. Ilan yung daily average ng napapakain ng isang branch?
Iba-iba. Sa Pasay, 700. Sa Cebu and sa Zamboanga, 300. 250 to 500.
Salamat, Sec.
Sunod po na tanong, Ivan Mayrina, GMA7.
Anybody can answer, but I suppose that's you, Secretary Rex.
Okay.
How much has government spent for us to achieve this number, 600,000 families that are less hungry?
The design ng overseas development assistance for 3 years is 42 billion pesos to catch all of them. This year, of that fund, we've already disbursed 14 billion pesos. Sorry, since year 1 pala yun. 14 billion since year 1. So, 42 billion yung total package na ODA, 14 billion na yung nadi-disburse natin. Then meron tayong, if you look at the GAA kasi, meron isang line item doon called Walang Gutom. Yun yung counterparting ng local ng GOP, ng Government of the Philippines. That's around 1.9 1.9, no? 1.9 annually since 2024, the first year na nagka-line item siya.
Are we also seeing the impact of this program in terms of, for example, sa mga 600,000 ho ba na na-cover nito, are we seeing better productivity in the families? Are the children back in school or performing better in school? May ganun po ba tayong metrics?
More, wala sa SWS yun, wala sa field work na to. Remember, yung condition is to make their families productive. Kasi, di ba, a hungry person, mahirapan yan magtrabaho. That's why natanda nyo kanina, binanggit ko yung 3K, yung condition niya, yung kabuhayan, kalusugan, and then kakayanan. We're partnering up with TESDA on upskilling kasi the food poor families, nandyan sila yung pinakamahirap. Mas mahirap sa mahirap, in short. Sila yung mga pamilya na hindi lumalagpas sa 13,000 pesos ang kinikita kada buwan. So you can imagine, even if they want to work, they'll end up with work na trabaho na hindi rin substantial ang pay. So that's why ang naging process namin, upskill muna natin sila. Kasi kung sinabak mo nga sa workforce, babalik rin tayo doon sa seasonal type of jobs na nakukuha nila. So give us time because we're building first, we're capacitating them. Partner yan eh. During those 3K sessions, bukod sa nutrition development, meron rin silang upskilling na ginagawa with TESDA. Then, we have a standing MOA with DOLE kung saan sinasalamin namin sila sa mga job fair nila. Doon namin later on ma-identify ilan na sa kanila ay nakatagpo ng trabaho. But it's too early kasi we're in the capacity building stage.
Maraming po salamat. Any more question po? Ma'am Kat Domingo, ABS-CBN.
For additional, just on the supply side, what items are most in demand and by how much have you expanded yung list of suppliers niyo so far?
Yeah, that's a very good metric, no? Remember ang disenyo nitong programa na to, farm to table. In this case, to the food poor families table. Yeah, dun sa design ng presidente, ayaw niya na may middleman. So ang ginawa natin, hinabol natin yung mga agri-co-ops, mga kadiwa ng Pangulo, mga maliliit na MSMEs, dun lang tayo nag-accredit. To the best of our ability, obviously may mga ibang lugar na where the food poor families are, talagang wala kami mahanap, so we have to resort to slightly bigger consolidators. But ang data namin, we now have 1,369 nationwide retailers, of which ang cooperatives dyan, 157. Ang micro, 1,215. Ang small, 88. Ang medium, 34. Ang large, 20. The large ones are normally operating in the GIDA areas kasi wala talaga mahanap doon na supply na consistent, yung kompleto. Now, ang maganda dito, meron din kaming 800, of that number, 852 are women-led and women-owned cooperatives. Kasi we're also looking at that angle. So, Kat, basically what we're trying to say is the supply is there. We cut out the middleman. Diretso kami sa pinakamaliliit at pinaka-kooperatiba na mga retailers. Then we use the standard retail price that's prescribed by DTI to avoid yung taking advantage overpricing. Para yung 3,000 nila na protect talaga yun.
Maraming po salamat. Wala na pong katanungan. Any last statement na lang po, Sec?
Well, maraming salamat sa pakikinig. Alam ko every time lumalabas yung quarterly survey nila Jay na normally commissioned, ang tanong lagi sa amin, I get questions, ano ang ginagawa ng pamahalaan tungkol sa kagutuman. So this is what we're doing. And the national strategy is focus on the provinces na ibibigay namin yung listahan sa inyo na sa struggle pagdating sa kagutuman. Itaas natin yung antas ng pamumuhay doon para the next time mag-survey sila, Jay, sana mag-reflect na doon. Kasi when you raise yung mabababa ang score to a better average, the national average goes up. Patuloy kami magre-report. There's a third wave that's coming shortly and a fourth wave before the end of the year. Kami sa DSWD, ang instruction ng Pangulo, all our social welfare, social development programs dapat data-driven. Hindi yun dahil trip lang namin. Ito ay patunay na sinusunod namin kung saan kami itinuturo ng data para masigurado natin na ang bawat sentimo ng taong bayan ay napupunta sa tama at yung resulta nararamdaman. Yan ang direktiba ng Pangulo. Maraming salamat. Magandang umaga.
Maraming salamat po. Balik na po sa iyo, Yusek Claire.
Sec Rex, may tanong lang po.
Oh yeah. Kayo ba ay nagugutom?
Maliban po sa mga kababayan natin na talagang nangangailangan ng ganitong klaseng programa, para maibsan yung kanilang kagutuman. Nakakatulong din po ito sa mga farmers.
Correct.
In what way
Yeah.
po?
Tulad ng nasabi ko namin kanina, I'll build on the question ni Cap. Nung dinesign to ng Pangulo sa vision niya, walang middleman. Dapat puntahan natin yung farmers diretso. That's why dun sa data na binigay namin, yung proprotektahan natin yung mga farmers kasi sila lang yung karamihan na ina-accredit natin. So yung mga mahihirap natin na kababayan, pupunta rin sa mga farmers na maliliit. At tulad ng sinabi ko kanina, sa 1,369 na retailers nationwide, yung maliliit at hanggang sa micro level na sa mga 1,215 pataas. So wala nang middleman, may assured pa na negosyo. At just to give you the number, the latest number, 544 million this year alone of gross receipts ang naibigay natin sa mga maliliit na mga farmers co-ops, magsasaka, farmers groups. So doon lang kami talaga umiikot. So it's a whole ecosystem, magsasaka patungo sa mahihirap nating benepisyaryo.
Yeah. Sa SWS po, tanong ko lang po. Ganito po, katulad niyan, diretso po kayo na nagsisurvey dun sa talagang mga taong siyang nabibenepisyohan nito. So kita po natin yung improvement. Pero paano kung magsisurvey sila? In general, ang tanong is, may nagagawa ba ang Pangulo, ang gobyerno, para sa kasagutan ng kagutuman, pero hindi at random? Hindi itong nakakaranas. Maaaring magkaroon ng ibang resulta sa survey dahil yung mga taong natanong at random ay hindi nila alam itong impormasyon na ito. Pwede po ba yan?
Tama po. Una, yung sa karanasan ng kagutuman, dun sa aming quarterly nationwide survey na parehas yung tanong namin regarding hunger, gusto kong sabihin na dun sa national survey as of March of 2026, ang nakuha naming datos, 23.2% ang nagsabi na nakaranas sila ng involuntary hunger. This is much lower compared dun sa respondents natin na household na targeted na beneficiaries ng walang gutom na program, even yung non-beneficiaries, na mas mataas ang kanilang karanasan ng pagkagutom. So on the national average, mas mababa yung national average. Pangalawa po, yung performance rating ng National Administration, meron po kami on the overall, nasa pinakahuling survey naging -1, nag-improve po siya from a -13. Tapos if I remember correctly, meron din po kami mga ibang indikasyon doon ng performance ng National Administration on helping the poor, fighting inflation, and I think it also has data on yung ensuring that no family will be hungry. Hindi ko lang po kabisado yung resulta ngayon. But there are results on that matter.
Pero may mga pagkakataon din po ba na ang nagiging respondent ay talagang totally parang wala silang naranasan or hindi sila aware sa ginagawa ng Pangulo at ng gobyerno? At nagre-reflect ito sa survey na minsan nami-mislead yung iba na parang walang ginagawa yung gobyerno. May pagkakataon po bang ganon?
May mga survey po na tayo. Una, ang respondents natin, general population. Those who are 18 years old and above, hindi requirement na may kaalaman po sila sa programa ng gobyerno. So pwedeng may alam sila, pwedeng may wala po.
Pero ano po yun, no? Medyo prejudicial yun, in a way, sa totoong nangyayari sa gobyerno. In a way.
Doon po sa aspeto ng gobyerno. Pero kung general population po yung pinag-uusapan natin, kasama dito yung mga taong may alam masyado, walang masyadong alam, or may pakialam, walang pakialam sa mga bagay-bagay.
Kaya ilaban natin ang katotohanan at hindi ang fake news. Obligasyon natin lahat yan. Maraming salamat po. Again, Secretary Rex Gatchalian, maraming salamat po. Kay Yusek Eduardo Punay, SWS VP Gerardo Sandoval, SWS Fellow Dr. Ruelano Briones, and of course, Mama Yolanda Crisanto ng Globe. Maraming salamat po sa inyo. At bago tayo magtapos, lagi natin tandaan, ang bagong Pilipino ay tapat sa katotohanan. Hindi gumagamit ng mga misleading questions para makakuha ng maling sagot na papabor sa mga sangkot. At dito na po itatapos ang ating press briefing. Magandang araw para sa bagong Pilipinas.